and welcome to Luxury Legends and Leaders. I'm Carrie Zier. I am your host today. I am VP of eXp Luxury, and I have some amazing guests with me on our show today. Let me introduce to you Jim Lowenstern, Donica Patton, and David Christensen. All of these are just legends. That's why they're here today in our industry and really what they do for their organizations, how they pour into eXp Luxury. And it's my privilege to have them all here. And we have got an amazing topic. And if you hear me speak a lot, I get excited about a lot of topics, I know. But this one truly is one of my favorites because when it comes to really having a niche, and let's debate that. Is it niche or niche? And we can ask. So I'm going to go around the horn here. You got to tell me how you say it and where you're from in your parts. But I say niche, maybe because I like the way it sounds. But truly, to develop a niche in real estate is, to me, one of the greatest things when you look to scale your business and how you can grow it. And, you know, some of the top agents that I've coached around the world, I always see they have several niches. I mean, it's not just one. Today, we're going to talk about some broad niches. Definitely, of course, luxury real estate is one. And then something that's new to eXp Luxury is sports and entertainment. And we're excited about that division. We're excited about that niche and really how you come in and can grow your business from it. So anyway, very excited. I see some of the comments here. The niche, I know, the N-E-E-S-H. Okay, Jim, how do you say it? Niche or niche?
Either works. I'm not going to be contrarian and say niche.
Okay, so he's goes with both of them.
Niche,
all right, Donica.
I say niche. I'm like you, Carrie. I mean, that's how I say.
All right. So we're winning on niche. All right, David. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I'm with you, Carrie. I think niche sounds a little bit higher end.
Okay, I know. Did you hear that, Jeremy? Jeremy's behind the scenes. We have fun debating it. All right, well, let's get back into this. I'm very excited, like I said, of where this can lead. And if you are a newer agent, if you're an agent that's been in the business for a long time, hopefully you will get something out of this today, because we're always getting better. No matter, you know, I've been in business 20 years and I still learn stuff every single day, and especially from amazing people like is on the show today. So Jim, tell us a little bit about where you're from. I know you've got a great organization, and really how you've led that under the luxury umbrella.
Sure. And thank you, Carrie, for inviting me. I grew up in New York, went to school in the Boston area, started my real estate career in Palm Beach, Florida. Was there for about 3 or 4 years. So sort of got the luxury DNA integrated into my career day one. Selling mostly, let's say, beachfront properties, and then moved back to the Boston area and started my own company in 1985. Came over to eXp about 4 years ago, and I had a pretty sizable company then. And on the eXp platform, it's grown. I would say exponentially.
I love it. I know. Well, you've done an incredible job, and you know, and just your background. I mean, Palm Beach and Boston. I mean, these are all luxurious places to do real estate for sure. All right, Donica, let's hear from the women's side of this.
Okay. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for having me be a part of this. Super honored. So I got into real estate I've been into real estate broker, licensed realtor since about 22 years now. Gosh, I feel old. But ironically, before I got into real estate, I was actually in film. I was a film producer for television. And that's actually where I made the transition from being a producer into real estate. And I started in real estate when the market crashed. So I really got firsthand experience into that and created my own brokerage, had a huge team. came over to EXP in 2019. So I've been with the EXP for a little while, started in luxury, and now I'm super honored to be a part of a founding member of sports and entertainment. So super excited about that and what I can bring to the table for all our agents.
I love that. And what an amazing background that you have. I mean, I love to see, and it really shows, how you've then navigated with that through real estate, of course. All right, David, I know you have some fun background information.
Well, happy to be here, and thank you as always for putting these wonderful things on. And Jim, nice to know I got another Boston brethren here. So I'm in the Boston area. I'm currently licensed in New Hampshire, Mass, Maine, and South Carolina. But my background started in the entertainment industry. So I spent about 20 years in Los Angeles in the music business. I was a music manager and had a large-scale music management company, and then I worked for Warner Brothers for quite a few years, signing artists and developing talent prior to getting into real estate. And I'm now celebrating my 10th year in real estate, and we really focus on coastal luxury. So if you're familiar with New England, Massachusetts, Maine, and New Hampshire, that run is a beautiful part of the world, and we've got some great luxury real estate there. And as Donica said, I'm just really excited that we're going to talk about sports entertainment a little bit later and how we're going to meld those two worlds, and super excited to be here.
I love it. So you all have amazing backgrounds, and if you're a realtor though, tuning into this, and maybe they don't have some of your life experiences, and we're sitting here talking about niches, because I get asked a lot, can you be successful if you pick your niche? Like, this is not anything about your background. Maybe you love sports and entertainment, but you don't really have that kind of background, but that's what you're choosing and you're going to go for it. Or did you, through your journey, take your background and really make it aligned with your real estate needs? Because there are obviously more ways to do it than one. I have seen people be successful both sides of the fence with it. Although I think it is a natural thing. If you love something, or if that is something that you've done in the past, you're more successful with it as well. So give us a little background on that, of how you developed and when you're all into luxury. I know you're into other things as well, but let's specifically luxury. Did you set out for that, or did you start day one with it?
Carrie, I'll go with that. I'll start with that. So, when I started in real estate, obviously the market had crashed. So I was dealing with a lot of different clientele. People were losing their homes and being taken advantage of by attorneys and just these pop-up companies. So, my niche has changed over the years. So my first niche was helping homeowners avoid foreclosure, right? So that was my niche. But then, I'm a firm believer that I have this saying, you turn your mess into your message. So my niche changed because unfortunately, life happens. We go through a lot of losses. And I experienced firsthand of learning about trusts, family estates. And so that has turned, my niche turned into that. And now I specialize dealing with, trust sales, probates, and on the luxury side of it, because of my film and TV background, that clientele. So now that's become my niche. It's because I know it firsthand. I can speak from experience, and I love doing it. I love helping people from my own experience. So I think for those agents that are learning about their niche, it's, what life experiences help that guide you, maybe. What are your thoughts?
Great.
I love it. All right, guys, have you fallen in the same line, or some?
I'll just give you my experience coming into the business. I ended up at a real estate company right in downtown Palm Beach, and my broker said, "You can work here, but I'm not going to train you." So I had to figure it all out on my own, really from day one. I didn't even know there was such things as training and coaching. And I would sit there in the office and I'd be making calls out of the newspaper, whatever I was doing. And there was an agent sitting next to me and says, "What are you doing?" And I was in an office, I think just about everyone was retired. So it was just me running around town. And I became a pretty, successful agent for that particular office. And then when I came to Boston, I was basically just put into the business day one with a builder who said, "I'll fund you," and never really turned back. It's been really since day one.
So you were more purposeful, although you fell into it. You were very, just your location being in Palm Beach to me screams luxury.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't realize maybe how good I had it right then, because this was 43 years ago. I mean, I was really right in the heart of it. So I learned right at ground zero, pretty much.
That's amazing. David, did you fall into it or you went after it?
I would say I went after it, but my transition from the entertainment industry to real estate was really all about identifying the similar skill sets. And a lot of times when I'm mentoring people or I'm talking to young agents, I talk about two things. One, finding out what that inherent passion is that you have, because we all have that niche or that passion that resonates with us. But we also have skill sets. A lot of times we get hung up on what does our resume physically say. And it's really not about the job. It's about what kind of things did you have to excel at to be successful in that one career that you could then bring over. And for me, in artist management, there was a certain list of skill sets that were very, very transferable to the real estate industry, and certainly in terms of the luxury industry, in terms of how we handle clients, the discernment, the white glove approach, the out of the box thinking, the negotiations, all those things that I had to do in my previous life were a very nice overlay to real estate, and certainly luxury real estate.
No, that's a great point, David. One thing from the film business, entertainment, and music is the one thing they teach you, which really resonates to real estate, is, find me the yes. There's never a no, find me the yes. And that really resonates with real estate, because when we're servicing our clients, it's that white glove service and, finding that yes in whatever they need.
And if you think about how that also translates into sports, we're talking about entertainment a little bit, but sports, it's all about finding that yes, right? It is not over until it's over. How many times have we seen that game, whether it's hockey or football or baseball, go down to that last second?
That is sports, right?
Right? All the statistical odds would say this is not coming together, right? But it's not over till it's over. And again, that kind of plays into that finding that yes.
It's definitely the real estate mantra for sure. We have a lot of agents ask all the time, and I'm not sure who is all listening now, but how do you break into luxury? That is a question we all get asked a lot. Luxury is definitely a niche, and then there's different ones under that. But just, when people, say, maybe they don't have a higher price point, maybe it is that 500,000 or less, and they just want to just break into that higher end luxury. Why I feel like a niche is so important, and it's even broad, to me, I narrow it down more than just being luxury. Is it the country clubs? Is it the condo, downtown, urban, luxury sales? There's a lot of different things when it comes to luxury real estate. There's, land and ranch, there's horse farms, there's a lot to it. If you're giving advice to agents on here that are really like, I do want to come in and develop this kind of niche, because I will say this to set proper expectations. I don't think you are an expert in a niche overnight. I do think when you can get with a network like we have and you can really pour in, but it does, you're seeing us, Jim's saying he was back in that office 43 years ago. I can even look back 20 years ago, I was in luxury, but was I the same person I am now? Now, I don't think it takes 20 years but that we're trying to pour into you, obviously, on some of our knocks that we've had, because you're seeing us today all glossy and ready, to talk about all this. But I do think you can start today. It does scale your business and it does change your life. So from all of you, I would love some perspectives to really give to other agents that are wanting to grow in this area.
Well, I'll just say it's everything has changed with social media. Number one, AI is of course going to just speed up everything, and systems. You talk about EXP luxury systems like Lux VT. What that does with a listing with just an MLS number in a matter of seconds. I mean, that would have taken an admin probably a couple of days to create what is done before you can blink. And that's for sellers and buyers. So, I mean, it's really changed. I mean, when I started, no cell phones, no internet, how did we even do it? It's amazing.
I know, and to look at where we are now, and like you said, there's so many tools now, and to stay ahead. And I mean, that is a topic of how to stay ahead of all these tools that we have, because sometimes it's mind-boggling. It's like, there's a different AI, there's something faster to do, there's more social media to do, but but that is what we're here to help and navigate through. All right. There too, when we're talking about just really breaking in and succeeding in the luxury space.
So, Carrie, I'm going to speak to those for a moment, for those newer agents that are just coming on. And, first things first is mindset. A lot of brand new agents get stuck into this thought process that, well, I've never sold a luxury property. I've never sold $1 million property. Well, and this goes for not only just EXP, any real estate brokerage, is that when you're part of a brokerage like EXP or Keller Williams, or, when you're meeting with the seller or buyers, you're stating my team and I have sold X number of properties in luxury or in sports and entertainment. So you come from that mindset that you're not an individual agent, you have a team behind you. So that's the way, when you're going out and trying to get that new listing that is over $1 million, come from that standpoint that my team and I have done $1 million of real estate before. Here's our portfolio, and really making that client feel that they've got the support that they need. I think that's key, is just getting into that mindset that you're not an individual agent, you have a team behind you that has sold real estate.
Yes, I love that. And it's so true. And no matter what brokerage you're at, I know we have, because I am an industry person, I love our business, and I know there's different choices out there. Speaking specifically about EXP Luxury, I love that we do have a brand ready for those that are breaking in. And we have two levels of that. We do have it for those that maybe don't even have really that true luxury listing presentation. Because when you talk about developing that niche, it does go into having everything about that, whether it's sports and entertainment, whether it's just high-end luxury. I always say super luxury. I know agents that have been, luxury real estate for many, many years, but they still want to get that, super luxury, 5 million, 6 million, 10 million plus. So there's different ways to do it. There's different ways to market yourself with it, but definitely having this niche and being, pouring into it and claiming it. That's what I always say too, is don't be a secret niche person. Go out there and, I, day one, shouted out, I was a sports and entertainment luxury realtor, and, and it works. All right, David, your thoughts.
Well, I couldn't agree with you guys more. I think one, certainly leaning on the team, and two, claiming it. I was listening to somebody the other day, and they were talking about how it's so much easier to start at a luxury in terms of how you're entering the world and then go down, as opposed to go in reverse, right? If your branding is more entry level, it's sometimes harder to reverse it, right? And again, it's about mindset and putting yourself in the right room. One of the things I tell agents that are trying to break in is not to be intimidated by it, right? If you're providing white glove, high-end service to the first-time home buyer buying a $500,000 house, it's the same level of service that you're going to provide at the $1 million level. It's just being in different rooms, right? So it's being thoughtful, saying to myself, okay, what is the local country club? What is the local golf club? Is it doctors, attorneys, lawyers? There's certainly a group of individuals that are swimming in just a little bit different pond than maybe first-time homebuyers. It's no judgment whatsoever. It's just, where are we going to go fishing? Where are we going to kind of show up so that
home buyers, that is a niche. I mean, it's just different than what we're talking about today, but it is definitely one.
100%. And so just being thoughtful about, where am I putting my branding out? Where am I going to events? Where am I trying to run into this group of people? And then when I do become a part of that fabric, am I showing up the best that I can? Am I representing myself and my company in the best way that I can? And I think in luxury specifically, I don't know how you guys feel, I think word of mouth and personal reputation and personal referral has a weight even more so than in any other level of real estate. I think when you've done a high level deal and really delivered, that word of mouth within that field carries a lot of weight, because that group of people is typically not just going to ChatGPT or the internet. They're really leaning on their vetted core relationships to find out who they know and can trust.
I have a question for David. David, so you do oceanfront property in New England.
Sure.
How large a territory do you cover when you're discussing your business? Someone says, so David, where do you sell real estate? What's
Great question. So for me, and if you're familiar with New England, because you can go from Gloucester in Massachusetts to Ogunquit in Maine in 90 minutes, you can cover that shoreline in a way that may seem to an outsider as, wow, that's a lot of territory. But in reality, somebody who's interested in coastal properties of New England, they can see 3 states in an afternoon. So I really try to.
Are you showing these properties from the water, or are you driving?
Typically driving, but certainly we've done from the water. Yeah.
It's nice. Well, now I want to go see some properties in New England. When are we doing that?
Anytime. Let's have a little group meeting on the coast.
Absolutely.
My magazine, the back cover is always a Hatteras yacht being advertised.
Beautiful.
That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, beautiful.
You guys are speaking our language in luxury for sure. Okay, branding and marketing. Do you market your niche? Do you encompass it, or do you do different other ways of marketing? And I'm asking this because a lot do, if they already, say have a first-time home buyer's business going, or this is really not their niche, but they're breaking into it. How do they market? So, and give us different examples. Is maybe what you're doing now is not what you used to. Maybe this is all you'd market yourself now, but I'm trying to help those that are breaking into this niche, or really how to elevate and scale their business, whether it's luxury or if it's even, more than that. Maybe it's luxury condos, or like I said, luxury, country club areas. So how do you do that?
I'll just start. My company originally was called Castles Unlimited. I had a big building full of condos. I just stood there and looking at it, and I said, what should the name of the company be? I had the listing before the name of the company. So I went down the list. It was Mansions Limited, Castles, and we between 3 partners, we came up with the name. And then it got trademarked, and then it got shortened. And then I said one day, because I had a competitor with a magazine, I thought to myself, I can't afford to do a magazine, but if I published a magazine and sold ads, maybe I could afford it. So that just evolved. I never had a clear idea. This is what I'm going to do. This is step one. It just was, 43 years in the business. I've made every mistake. I've tried everything. And what I think is interesting, so we got David, Danica. I've done TV production. I've done books, podcasts, radio shows. I had my own AM radio show where I was the host. We're all creative, and we ended up in real estate.
Yeah.
And this has become a platform for our creativity. The fact that we're making money selling real estate is, I think, secondary. So I think anyone coming into the business should not just be entrepreneurial. They would want to create content. And if you want to get into luxury, there's really no better time with the internet, with social media. This is, you're coming in with the wind at your back.
Well, Jim, you have done an amazing job scaling your business using, of course, Castle's Reeks Luxury. And, and that's where I was getting at. You have marketed yourself as a luxury expert.
I got lucky. The patent and trademark office gave me the trademark.
So, no, excellent. I love it. All right, David, Donica, how have you scaled, or how do you brand yourself now? Is it as that niche? Is it because you guys go even further with the sports and entertainment? Do you keep it just as luxury, specializing in sports and entertainment? How do you go about your marketing?
I think there's a niche and then a sub niche, right? So if we look at it up until 4 months ago, it was strictly luxury. And we talked about narrative and storytelling and a white glove service and all those type of things that were very specific to luxury. Obviously, since the launch of sports and entertainment, I think we've now developed a subset that's very specific to that market. And, like Jim was talking about the coastal, right? So we've got some specific branding that speaks just to the coastal market. But I think the overarching tagline, or feeling we want to get people to connect to is this concept of that, every home has a story, right? There's a narrative that's special and unique to your property or your buying experience. And so whether that means that we're in one particular ad space focusing on coastal, and we might use some language or some imagery that really speaks to that. Ultimately, we want that feeling to be that this group of people has a background that understands in a different way than the normal realtor, without in any way kind of doing we're better than them. It's almost a subtle representation that we understand. I love what Jim was saying about, us being entrepreneurs and creatives, right? That we're really bringing that to the table. And I try sometimes very heavy-handedly and sometimes more subtly to leave people with that impression that my background brings a different energy and a different thought process to the table than maybe somebody else in this space.
Yeah, no, I agree, David. I mean, you said it perfectly. It's, with my niche being more trust estates and trust properties and so forth, that niche in its own, it speaks to my slogan, which is solving situations one house at a time. And each property, each situation is so individualized because of you're dealing with people that, in terms of the luxury market, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of investments, they have so it's educating them and guiding them through trust and so forth, and how to protect their financial, portfolio through real estate as well. And that's in itself, leading to the branding. It's all individualized, dealing with a lot of trust attorneys and so forth, portfolio managers, and, but every single situation is so individualized, and bringing that to the table. That's how I focus, me personally, my branding when dealing with clientele like that.
Well, that leads us straight into really one of my favorite topics of this is the micro niches, which are the specializations, because we had, like we said, we've got this luxury, we've got real estate, and many of us have always done, and I've always said I'm luxury. I'm like Donica said, I've done the short sales, the foreclosures. I mean, I've sold everything under the moon, but I've always claimed is when I teach agents, I still have always said I'm a luxury agent. Somebody said, I saw it popped up from one of our listeners about the service. Absolutely. Luxury is not a price point. It is service. And when you look at it like that and you give that service across to everyone, of course, that white glove service is what I say, then to me, it comes back to you 10 times fold with the business, because that is, what we're about. But the specializations only make us all better, and if you're not working on one now, I mean, if this is your industry, this is your passion, we're always learning, and to really go into those specializations, to me, is where it happens. It's the excitement, and it does create new business. Right now it's more tools to work with. Again, we have different ones out there. I'm excited to really be a part of what we're doing with our EXP divisions here, because it's not just sports. You see, we get excited about sports and entertainment, but there's new development. There's land and ranch. There's of course, many more, but these are some that we want to talk about. So let's open it up. Sports and entertainment is one of our newest divisions that rolled out October in Miami. I know we have this amazing community. We already had a fabulous luxury, but now we've expanded that to the specialized niche. How are you using that, David and Donica? And then Jim, my question to you is, there's another specialization that you've capitalized on, but for David and Donica, really to hype up our sports and entertainment, how are you using it? Because I know you have some amazing stories to share with it.
Well, for me, it's been two things right out of the gate. First and foremost, it's been a way to kind of combine those two worlds, and for us to speak to people and relationships that we had for 20 years in that business, and to talk to them directly about what we're offering, which has been phenomenal. The other thing that's been really exciting, I think this might be interesting to newer agents or luxury agents that are just coming over to sports and entertainment and may not yet have either a high profile client, or they may not have a sexy story yet specifically in the entertainment industry. I had 3 scenarios over the last month that came together with high-end listings that I'm absolutely convinced having that sports and entertainment overlay was mission critical in separating me from the other agent. And I think we both had great skill sets, and we're both looked at thoroughly. But at the end of the day, even though none of those 3 listings had anything to do with sports and entertainment, I think the fact that we had that division, that we were running in a circle that was kind of rarefied air to these sellers, was really exciting to them, and really it had a sizzle to them. And I don't mean that in a fluff way. I mean that in a way that when they were kind of getting down to the wire, they really felt really confident that if our group had this subdivision of sports entertainment, and that we were working with that type of clientele, and we were being trusted by that type of clientele, then certainly we could handle, their $3 or $4 million listing, by the local doctor.
Which is nothing to snub your nose to, right?
But it was just exciting to see how that overlay really had some value, and they didn't have to necessarily be, on the Patriots or in the Bruins or whatever, but it was super helpful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, David's saying it exactly correct. Yeah, we had luxury. And then when the sports and entertainment took off, it was really interesting with the clientele that is more actor, director, producer. It was immediately where they felt, oh my gosh, you get me, you know how to service me, you know exactly what I need, and you can deliver it because of this division. So it's really exciting, and it just spoke for itself for so many of my clientele that I deal with. So I'm excited, and I'm so excited about our mastermind that David and I are going to start doing within that division as well.
Yes, I love it. So much with that. All right, Jim, with these specializations, how have you used that in a lot of your success and a lot of your agents' success?
Yeah, I want to really congratulate my team. It didn't even exist more than a couple of years ago. Last year, and it was just like a rare conversation I was having with one of the agents, and he said, "Oh, did you because I was going over the numbers with him, and he said, "Did the sale in Beverly Hills show up?" And I had, believe me, I would have, if I heard Beverly Hills, I would have remembered it. I said, no. He said it was 16,000. I was driving, so I go, oh, 16. No, I mean 16 million. He said, no, not 16 million, 60 million. I go, what? I said, come to our strategy meeting tomorrow. So he comes to the meeting. He's in New York City. He's walking down the street with his phone as he walks. And he starts talking. He says, yeah, we sold Mark Wahlberg's estate. And I'm half hearing it, and the rest of the agents are going, what? And he says, yeah, we sold it to Paris Hilton. And that went right by me. And it was like after the meeting, someone said to me, can you believe that? And I said, what are you talking about? And then I got the full story, because I don't know, I just didn't hear it. $63 million sale.
Woo!
So,
now
yeah.
that is amazing. I love it.
Yeah. So talk about leverage. So out of nowhere, didn't even know about it when it first happened. And now, of course, anytime I get a chance, like now, I'm going to mention it, because that's notable.
Well, you have to mention it on Luxury Legends and Leaders. Absolutely. So congrats on the 63 million. But
Point
you know,
one.
what point one? Get it right. You know, this is why I'm so passionate about this specific topic, because it is doing it over and over, putting yourself out there with your specialization. And Jim, like I said, you've branded yourself so well with Castles. I mean, and yes, it does reek luxury. And then David Donica, you know, as we're expanding into the sports and entertainment, and there's others. So if you're out there and, you know, you're been on the fence of really diving in, pouring into yourself, and, you know, anytime you're educating yourself, I mean, to me, that is just priceless, because, you know, you can take this forever and use it. And that's really the communities we are building within these niches. So we're here to help you grow. Of course, you've heard some amazing stories today, and these rock stars are here for support. They're part of EXP Luxury, and we're just so honored to have them. We will be on next month. We're here every month. Next month, we're diving into more of, to continue this whole quarter, we're going to talk about developing your niches, but next month will be all about new development. And it's one I'm passionate about as well. And it's one that if you are looking out to, like, how can I go get more business? That to me is a amazing prospecting tool of actually going to these new developments, going to builders, you know, going out there and really making stuff happen out there in our real estate world. So closing remarks, anyone? I mean, this has just been awesome. And I'm excited to see how we're growing our community in luxury really around the world.
I'm just going to say this is going to be a great year. I think interest rates, I mean, the Fed's meeting today, hopefully, you know, I don't think the rates are going to go down yet, but, you know, I think that's going to help us. And I think that's going to loosen up some inventory also.
Great.
I hope so. And I'm with you. I'm 2026 is our year. We're due, right?
Yes, indeed.
It's been a while.
All right. Closing remarks, David Donica.
I just want to wish everybody a wonderful 2026. We're excited to be here. We're excited about all the stuff we have going. And like Carrie said, we're here to help. I mean, that's what's wonderful about this company, and specifically this division. It's a great team, and I'm certainly grateful to be here and happy to support.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am as well. 2026 is going to be amazing, and it is all about the team that is behind you, and we are all behind you, and we want to help all you agents be the best that you can be, and onward. So super excited about it.
Well, we're here to answer any questions. Make sure you comment below. Let us know if you've enjoyed the show. We'll be here next month on Luxury Legends and Leaders. See you then.